nešto što mi čuo preko žice, još nisam
Dragi prijatelji, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Consul General of the Republic of Serbia in Sydney, Branko Radošević, and tonight I have a great pleasure to welcome the legend of Serbian basketball and the President of the Olympic Committee of the Republic of Serbia, Vlade Divac, and his lovely wife, Ana. To welcome His Grace Archbishop Irinae, the Metropolitan of the Serbian Orthodox Church for Australia and New Zealand. My dear colleague, Ambassador Neda Maletic, she's somewhere around, I can't see her here. Some other distinguished guests. Well, what to say? We will have the presentation tonight about the foundation, very humanitarian organization which Ana and Vlade found trying to help so many people in need. I would like to thank His Grace for helping this whole event and the whole tournament of the foundation. And to make it short, because I don't like to speak too much, you know, I would like to introduce Vlade and to ask him to address the story. Vlade,
thank you. Dobro večer svima, hvala što ste došli. Ja bih vjerojatno imamo ovdje par nekih prijatelja koji su iz Australije, pa ne pričaju naš jezik, pa bi možda na engleskom zarad njih da budu bolje upoznati šta mi hoćemo i želimo da uradimo. First of all, thank you very much for coming. We are a humanitarian organization, Divac. It's been 4 years since we are working on a project helping our refugees and internally displaced people from Serbia, Bosnia and Croatia. So far in the last 4 years we helped almost 2,000 people with 300 something houses or apartments where we try to close collective centers in Serbia. Lately we building the 3 buildings in the Belgrade city, and these events and events in the last couple of weeks we are trying to raise money for the 4th building where we, with the 4th building we will close the all collective centers around Belgrade.
My name is Ana Divac and I am president of our foundation. And I want to tell you about this a project that we are doing. As you saw from the movie, there are still refugees, unfortunately, in our country. And many of you, being immigrants or refugees coming in this country, I'm so glad that you made like a life forward and that you're doing so well. I'm really proud of all immigrants and refugees that you met in Australia. But unfortunately, there's people they weren't able to do something like that for many different reasons. Usually, they were single mothers, they were left in a war with the little kids, or there were people that were sick. So in Belgrade, all the refugees on territory of Serbia who were like needed a doctor's help, medical help, they were put in collective centers in Belgrade. And even today, they live like when you see on the picture. That's how they live. It's very tragic. And we thought that it's a tough job to do it because they were like advising us not to do with refugees because they're not any more popular in Serbia. We decided that's what we want to do because we decided that we want to put the name and fame of Vlade in cause of people that are almost forgotten. They live like 5, 6, 7, 10 kilometers outside of the villages and cities. And we committed that we're going to close all the collective centers. In the past year and a half, we were able to change the law in Belgrade. It took us 1 year of lobbying and pressuring people to change the law. You know, like in any country that's very hard in order to be able to build the social buildings so we can close those collective centers. With help of US government, USAID and European government commission, we are building 3 buildings and we are collecting money for the 4th building. We collected $100,000 for that building, and we made a commercial with RTS, that's the main TV station in Serbia, to collect building material for that building. And so far we collected approximately $100,000 in Sydney and Melbourne. We're going to show you the film, what is like, how that all looks and what we were able to do in like 3.5 years of our work. But in our heart we think that we were brought up as a nation that without helping each other we won't be able to survive. And not only this generation, many generations before us. And we think that for our own good and the good of our kids, we cannot leave these people behind us and hope that our lives is going to go really well. So we're going to show you the movie, and after the movie, who is willing and who is able to give what they can give. Anna Košel, she's director of the foundation. She's going to have a table over there. Please, we are accepting every kind of help, cash, checks, credit cards. If you have any questions, any kind of questions, please come to us, and we are like here for you to answer it. Thank you very much for coming.
Your Excellency, Consul General of the Republic of Serbia in Sydney, Ambassador Branko Radošević, Your Excellency, Ambassador Neda Maletić of Serbia to Australia, Your Excellencies, distinguished representatives of the Consular Corps gathered here this evening, beloved friends, one and all, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me once again in showing our heartfelt appreciation and in welcoming these magnificent humanitarians who have come here to Australia to share with us their work that they do on behalf of so many refugees who have no voice in the world and to whom, for all intents and purposes, the world has indeed turned a deaf ear. Please join me once again in welcoming Vlade Divac, who needs no introduction whatsoever. In addition to all of the titles which he bears, he is also Serbia's ambassador for goodwill, and I think that the members of our Consular Corps and Diplomatic Corps will agree that he is our finest ambassador that we have in the world. Thank you again for all that you do. In like manner, we in the Orthodox Church believe that when a man is married, he becomes completed in life. And so Vlade is in many ways completed and complemented by his exceedingly lovely wife, Anna, who is the president of this magnificent Divac Humanitarian Aid Foundation. And with them also is the director of their foundation, Mrs. Anna Košel, who is also here this evening. We have brought Anna along for many reasons, but one is to balance out the height factor in this combination. I have known Vlade over many years, and I have always known that this man has an exceedingly generous heart, a heart which is much greater and vaster than his own generous proportions in life. But I have discovered over the 2 years that we began planning this, and in now being with them on the tour, that his wife, Anna, is the one who managed to pull so much out of this man who has already given so much to the world through sport, through humanitarian activities, through the goodness of his own nature and being, because if I understand correctly, it was Anna who saw how moved Vlade was when he realized how many refugees are homeless, are void and stripped of their dignity, and she told him, when you retire, why don't we begin doing something for these people? And so this entire humanitarian project was launched through the goodness of their hearts, and then Anna joined them in their efforts as the director of this foundation. You see, they are restoring to these persons that which they have lost or which has been cast aside during these many years of turmoil, of war, of living as persons without a roof over their home. They have given them back their human dignity, and nothing in life can be more important than this. When they came here, they told me how they were now building a new building among the many which they have already erected. I believe you have housed over 300 and some families, if I'm not mistaken. And they're building a new building, a new apartment building, to house many more refugees. They are lacking, for this one project, $150,000. When I heard that figure, I knew in my heart of the great generosity of my own Serbian faithful here in Australia and all of those who would come to hear and to see these presentations. And I asked myself, is it not possible, and I knew the answer in advance, yes it is, that we could donate that $150,000 and that new building could bear the name of us who are from Australia and be called the Australian House. Can we do this? I believe we can. Will you help? I know that you will help. I don't have to beg, I don't have to plead, because I know the generosity of your hearts. Last week in Bonirig, in our Serbian Sports Center, we raised in excess of $57,000. Last weekend when we were in Melbourne, our youth organization, SOYA, the Serbian Orthodox Youth Association of Australia, 250 young adults gathered in one evening, raised $47,000. We have raised other sizable amounts at various churches and various functions, and I know that we are going to reach our goal, God willing that is, because God will indeed help us if we help others. And so I ask all of you tonight, brothers and sisters Serbs, fellow countrymen, co-religionists, and our dear and distinguished members of the Consular Corps who have gathered this evening, can you open your hearts? Can you give to this worthy contribution? You have heard that Anna will be here in the hallway. I will also give them my own deacon, Nemanja, to help in collecting and writing out receipts for the donations which we have given. Donations can be made out, payable to the Serbian Orthodox Church, and every donation which you give will be transferred immediately to the Divac Humanitarian Organization. And as you have heard and witnessed in these films, every last cent which you give will be given towards this worthy cause. And it is indeed a worthy cause. Thank you for coming this evening. May God bless and keep each and every one of you. And may we, as one man has expressed so beautifully, also be part of their giant and enormous hearts, and may we be part of this humanitarian organization so that we can say, thank God we were able, in whatever measure, large or small, to contribute to this indeed truly worthy cause. Thank you again for the generosity of your hearts. Živi bili I Bog vas blagoslovio. I love this photo because when I'm standing on a step and when I have my mitre on my head, it's the only time that I'm as tall as Vlade.